In the last video, I didn't share all the plans we have for our 1M. Now, this has an S65 in it, and that makes it very special. We're gonna take it out and replace it with something. Now, you're probably wondering we're a bit crazy, but what's going inside is even more special. So let's get this box open and see what's in it. Some of you may recognize what this box is. Most of you won't, but it says BMW Motorsport on it. It has Japanese writing. It's come from Japan, and on the top it says for Imran from Bob. So let's take a look at it and see what it is. That is a P65. So for those of you that don't know, the P65 is the race version of the S65, which are going to be taken out of that car. It's a 4.4 stroker, whereas the original one is 4 litre, has different cams. It was used in the Z4 GT3 car from our friends at Studi. So thank you to Bob for providing me with this engine. It's been sitting here for a while waiting for a 1M, and now we finally have one to put it in. That is the S65 engine from the old race car. Just looks like it's part of the display now because it's been here for 3 years. And we are going to have to do a few things to it to make it suitable for that. So these are dry sump. We're going to have to convert it to a wet sump. Has a smaller alternator. So we're going to make it as road friendly as possible. In terms of the engine management, I was initially thinking of mapping the stock ECU, and I know we can do that, but this engine is so expensive. I want to run a Civex purely for the fail-safe, and this will be mated to the DCT gearbox in there. I'm super excited to see what this is going to be like in that car and see how much power we can extract out of it. You'll notice that the plenum is actually different because they take the air directly from the front. We're not going to do that. We're going to be running an even Chewy plenum on here so we can maintain the fantastic noise. We're not sure how much difference that's going to make to the power, but we'll find out shortly. The next step is to get this engine to Mr. Vanos, who's going to convert it into a more road-friendly spec for us. In the meantime, we're going to strip this so it's ready to put this in there when it comes back.
So the P65 is up at Mr. Vanos and Steve is getting it ready for road use. But obviously before we can fit that to the car, we have to take the S65 out. Our friends down at Quattro Coachworks have removed the aircon gas for us. So we're now going to drain the engine oil and the coolant. Once that's done, we can then start removing all of the lines and connections to be able to drop the engine out. Now we're going to drop the engine out from the bottom. So we'll have to remove the exhaust, the heat shields and the prop shaft. And then once that's done, we can then disconnect the top mounts and we can undo all of the subframe bolts from the bottom, allowing us to drop the engine out from the bottom. Now, unfortunately, it's a lot quicker to say than it is to do, so I'd better get to it. So the 1M is back up in the air, which means we have got the S65 out, and we've also got the P65 back from Steve. Now they do look very similar, but Steve has assured us that this is very different internally. But obviously one big difference is this doesn't have anything on it, and this has still got everything attached to it. So we've got to get everything off of here, bolt it onto here before we can put it back up in the car. We want this 1M build to be as reliable as possible, and a big part of that is to do with cooling. So to help us with that, we have got a full CSF kit here in front of me. The kit consists of a radiator for the engine coolant, which is obviously going to keep the engine coolant temperatures down. We've also got an oil cooler for the engine, which again is going to keep the engine oil temperatures down. A DCT cooler to stop the oil from getting too hot, which can lead to issues such as clutch slip and poor drivability in the gearbox. And finally, the power steering cooler, because these cars are known to have issues with the power steering fluid boiling, especially when you're on track and they get very, very hot. Now, all of these parts are a direct replacement on an E9X M3, so in theory, they should fit perfectly to our 1M. But of course, there's only one way to find out, so let's get to it. The P65 is now built and we have swapped over everything from the S65 onto this, such as like the pulleys, the exhaust manifolds, the gearbox, the wiring, etc. So it is now fully road spec. With it all built up, it does look just like an S65, but it does have P65 stamped on the back, so we know it is still a P65. But as Mum always used to say to me, it's what's inside that counts. And speaking of inside, while we was in there, we did change the Vanos covers to the Evolve ones, and FCP Euro have sent us some NRW valve covers. Now these are available in loads of different colors, but we decided to go for the OE look. Both of those modifications are of course for longevity and to prevent any future damage, because we've just had it apart and we don't want to do that all over again. Hash got the CSF rad pack and all of the coolers fitted, and of course I was wrong and it did need some slight modifications to get it in there, but like a champ he got it done anyway. And now it is time to get this lovely P65 engine into the 1M so we can finally drive it and feel what this engine is about rather than just look at it. The P65 is in its new home. We've got all the lines connected, all the fluids are in. We've got the Cybex ECU in there as well. And we have cranked the engine over already to build up the oil pressure. And it did build up the pressure okay. So it's now the moment of truth and we'll actually try and fire it up. She's good, man. She's good.
It runs.
She's good. She's alive.
It runs for the moment.
It's going to run for good.
I think it sounds good. It sounds smooth.
It does sound decent, to be fair. It sounds better than the S65 did.
There's Cybex stuff happening. I don't know what it means.
Oh, that means absolutely nothing to me.
So last time I was standing here, the P65 was in its flight case, but now it's actually in the car. The guys have actually smashed this out of the park while I've been away for 10 days, haven't been here for any of the process. The next stage would be to get this car on the dyno and get as much power as we can out of this race-derived engine. But this car is going to go to the USA and it has to go on a boat this week. Someone's just going to go and pick it up any minute. So the car's going to go to FCP Euro. We're going to do lots of work on the suspension with them. Then it's going to go to our friends at IND and have some bodywork and paint before ending up on the West Coast at CSF for their pre-SEMA launch party. And then the car is going to be displayed on their booth at SEMA. And we've done all of this so we can display our first car at that show. And I'm super excited. I've been going to that show since 2011 and it's always been a dream of mine to have a car there. So if you're going to be at the show, please do come and check it out. I can't wait to drive this car, but that will be in the next video when the car is actually on the other side of the pond. Thank you so much for watching, guys. If you liked the video, please remember to smash that like button. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. If you want to join the conversation, please drop a comment below and we'll try our best to respond to you. If you want to watch more of this project, you can do so over here. If you want to watch what YouTube thinks you might like from our other content, you can do so over here.